8 short of a majority, the BJP is invited to form the government in Karnataka. Where will it get its numbers from? Kumaraswamy alleges JDS MLAs are being offered big money to switch sides. Should Indian citizenship be premised on religion? We'll tell you what the Citizenship Amendment Bill is proposing and why Assam is seeing protests. The RBI Governor will appear before a parliamentary panel to answer questions on the crisis in banking. It's Thursday, May 17th. After a day of high drama, which saw JDS leader Kumaraswamy accuse the BJP of offering big money to his party legislators to switch sides.
Several MLAs they are approaching from yesterday evening. One cabinet rank and huge money.
Karnataka Governor Vajubhai Vala late on Wednesday evening invited the BJP to form the government. BS Yeddyurappa has to prove his majority within 15 days. Interestingly, the communication that the governor has decided to invite the BJP, which is the single largest party, but 8 short of a majority, first came not from the Raj Bhavan, but via the Karnataka BJP's Twitter handle. The governor's decision is a contentious one. Here's why. Let's look at the numbers again. The BJP has 104 seats in the assembly, the Congress plus the JDS 116, and others 2. The halfway mark is 112. Where will the BJP get its numbers from? Even if the 2 independent MLAs were to join hands with the party, the BJP will be short of a majority by 6. Will it then involve breaking away MLAs from either the JDS or the Congress? Will that not involve inducements of a monetary nature as claimed by Kumaraswamy? The BJP was quick to remind the Congress that it has a long history of abusing the governor's office.
जिस कांग्रेस पार्टी ने देश में सबसे अधिक राष्ट्रपति शासन लगाया और लोकतंत्र को पैसे और अमर्यादित आचरण से कमजोर किया, आज वो हमें मर्यादा की दुहाई देने की कोशिश कर रही है.
Meanwhile, the Congress has approached the Supreme Court seeking an urgent hearing. Reserve Bank of India Governor Urjit Patel will appear before the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance today to answer questions on the recent banking scams as also the crisis of rising non-performing assets. What are NPAs? It is the job of the central bank, in this case the RBI, to regulate the supply of money in the economy using tools like the cash reserve ratio and the statutory liquidity ratio. Cash reserve ratio or CRR is the amount of funds the banks have to keep with the RBI. If the central bank increases the CRR, the amount available with the banks to lend comes down. The CRR is currently 4%. Banks also have to invest a portion of their deposits in certain assets such as government bonds, securities or gold. These are assets that can be sold easily for liquid cash if the need arises. It's called the statutory liquidity ratio or SLR. The current SLR is 19.5%. Simply put, if a bank has deposits of 100 rupees, 4 rupees have to be kept with the RBI, which is the CRR. 19.5 rupees have to be invested in easily saleable or liquid assets. This is the SLR. The bank can lend the remaining 76.5 rupees to borrowers. There are 2 types of borrowers. Retail borrowers like you and I who take personal loans, home loans, etc. and the big corporate borrowers. The bank earns interest on these loans. A portion of that is used to pay the interest the bank owes its depositors. The rest is the bank's profit. Now, NPAs are a result of the bank's borrowers failing to repay their loans, which in turn means credit and growth will suffer. The gross non-performing assets of Indian banks is more than a whopping 8 lakh crore rupees. According to a report in the Indian Express, banking bad debts, in other words, loans recognized as unrecoverable, stood at 52,542 crore rupees by March 2015. Between 2004 and 2012, bad debts rose by about 4%, while they rose by a staggering 60% between 2013 and 2015. In that period, 29 public sector banks wrote off as much as 1.14 lakh crore of bad debts, Remember Vijay Mallya? His unpaid debts include the over 7,000 crore owed by the now defunct Kingfisher Airlines to 17 banks. These banks can recover only a paltry 155 crores. Mallya had in an open letter argued that even India's largest public sector bank, SBI, was culpable because the bank knew about his company's financial position all along and yet lent to it. Mallya said he was only being made the poster boy of bank defaults when in fact banks have NPAs of 11 trillion rupees and have borrowers who owe much more than the amount owed by Kingfisher Airlines. In fact, corporates make up 73% of Indian public sector bank bad loans. This is how former RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan put it in context. He said the country's investigative agencies are looking into cases where undue influence was used in getting loans or where actual fraud was committed by diverting funds out of a company. But there are other reasons. A number of these loans were made in 2007-2008. Economic growth was strong and the possibilities limitless. Deposit growth in public sector banks was rapid, and a number of infrastructure projects had been completed on time and within budget. It is at such times that banks make mistakes. They extrapolate past growth and performance to the future. Sometimes banks signed up to lend without even doing their due diligence. One promoter, Rajan recalled, told him he was then pursued by banks waving checkbooks, asking him to name the amount he wanted. The problem is that growth doesn't always take place as expected. The years of strong global growth before the global financial crisis were followed by a slowdown, which extended even to India. Domestic demand slowed down. Project cost overruns escalated for stalled projects, and they became increasingly unable to service debt. Too many projects were left weakly monitored, even as costs increased. Public sector banks continued supporting projects with fresh loans. Promoters astutely stopped infusing equity and sometimes even stopped putting in the effort. But aren't there laws to deal with this? The process for collection, he said, despite laws like Sarfazi, has been prolonged and costly, especially when banks face large, well-connected promoters. Then there is the Financial Resolution and Deposit Insurance Bill, which is a pending legislation aimed at dealing with the bad loans problem. The bill aims to insure the money of a bank's depositors in case the bank goes under. But one clause in particular, the bail-in clause, has been controversial. As per the bill, a resolution corporation will be set up to monitor financial companies. The bail-in clause says that the resolution corporation will rescue a failing financial institution through the help of creditors and depositors' money. So, barring the money which is insured, currently only up to 1 lakh rupees of bank deposits is insured. So barring that, the rest of the money is subject to the bail-in clause. The government has clarified, though, that the claims of depositors would be given precedence over the claims of unsecured creditors and government dues. Also that the bail-in clause will only be used sparingly and is unlikely to be used for public sector banks. Should Indian citizenship be granted on the basis of religion? Well, a proposed bill amending the Citizenship Act of 1955 is at the heart of protests underway in Assam and Meghalaya over the last couple of weeks. The proposed law seeks to allow illegal migrants who are Hindus, Christians, Buddhists, Sikhs, Jains and Parsis from Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh to become eligible for citizenship. The clauses of the amendment imply that citizenship will be facilitated only for non-Muslim minorities from the 3 countries. So while the bill has been criticized, saying it may violate Article 14 of the Constitution, which guarantees right to equality, the reason we're seeing protests in Assam is because of fears that the state will be flooded with 1.5 crore Hindu Bangladeshis if the bill is passed. Let's rewind a bit. In the late 70s and 1980s, Assam witnessed widespread anti-foreigner agitations. Between 1979 and 1985, the All Assam Students Union and the Assam Ganasangram Parishad spearheaded a movement to bring attention to the issue of illegal migrants, demanding that such immigrants be disenfranchised and deported. This period saw political instability and some of the worst ethnic violence. 6 years after the start of the agitation, the Assam Accord was signed between the Rajiv Gandhi government and leaders of the Assam movement. As per the agreement, those who entered Assam before 1966 would be considered citizens. Migrants who came between 66 and March 24, 1971, which is just before the start of the Bangladesh War, would be denied voting rights for 10 years but could enjoy other citizenship rights. Those that entered Assam after the 1971 cutoff will be detected and deported. The National Register of Citizens, currently being updated, follows the terms of this accord. So, the Citizenship Amendment Bill contradicts the exercise to update the National Register of Citizens in the state. Suits actress Meghan Markle is marrying British Prince Harry, sixth in line to the throne, on Saturday. It's another royal wedding and has all the makings for that overused term, real-life fairy tale. Palace, prince, jewels, beautiful dress, and the perfect villain, Britain's deep-set racial problem. Markle is divorced, older than Harry, was famous before the royal engagement, and is a biracial American woman. Her mother is African American, while father is Dutch-Irish. And the British media hasn't handled this too gracefully. Journalist Rachel Johnson, sister of British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, wrote, "Markle could help bring rich and exotic DNA to British royalty," and described her mother as a dreadlocked African American lady from the wrong side of the tracks. A comment piece on The Spectator read, "Obviously, 70 years ago, Meghan Markle would have been the kind of woman the prince would have had for a mistress, not a wife." A far-right UK politician's girlfriend said Markle's seed will taint our royal family. Had the typeface not been from today, it would have been difficult to imagine such things could be written in the 21st century. Meanwhile, the fact that Markle is quitting her job as an actress to become a full-time princess has also come under the scanner. She's also giving up political expression, US citizenship, her clothing line, Instagram account, and has been asked to dress more modestly. Feminists aren't cheering. Her father, Thomas Markle, has also been a target of British media, especially after apparently candid photos of him preparing for his daughter's wedding turned out to be staged. It now appears he may not be walking her down the aisle on Saturday to undergo heart surgery. Stay tuned to them and to us.